Hello there, it is Rockets time again for another podcast. And as usual, how are you doing? This time, I hope you are as bright as the sun. How is that? Anywho, before I will start my podcast, let me play a little sound. There you have it. As far as the topic or the headline, the only thing that I can come up with at this time is junking for money. And I don't know if that's the best headlines that I can give. But this is not about me selling you anything. So let's just be clear about it. It is just sharing a story, and it's an actual story. And if you are new to my podcast, I just want to let you know all the storytelling that I've been talking about are actually my past experiences. I cannot make up another story, especially fabricated story or lies, because I don't work that way. It is probably for other people it is easier for them to tell a story, but they are all lies. But there's a big portion of my brain that won't allow me to do that because that is not genuine to me. So before I get distracted, what I'm saying about junking for money is that I remembered when I was still married. I got divorced in 2014, so it's been a while. And I remember when I went to Savers that time, and even though I was financially stable when I was married, I somehow like the idea of going thrifting. So I'll go and buy my kids, well, when they were still little, I'll go and buy them clothes out there. And my philosophy is that kids, they grow up fast. You buy them clothes, and maybe in a month it won't fit them anymore. And I went through that before I even went thrifting, where all their clothes are being bought at the department store, but then they don't really last. So I said, okay, if I'm going to like thrifting, I will not hesitate to buy them clothes, wear them a few times, and donated it. And that's how it all started. But I remember one time when I was standing on the line, and there's this lady behind me, what was that, in front of me, and I've noticed she had two shopping carts full of purses. So I was kind of curious why does one lady had all these purses, and I approached her and I asked her, what does she do with all these purses? It seems like there's a lot. And I remember she said, oh, I actually sell them online. Probably that time eBay existed. I didn't know. And I said, yeah. And she goes, well, it is, to her, she said, she's making a lot of money on it, and it is enough for her not to work. Although I was skeptical for someone to say that maybe that they're making a lot of money selling online. That is something that I just left my opinion about it, but that was my first exposure on how did I ended up with what I am doing now. So anyway, so that's the one that the lady was telling me, and of course I forget about it. And over the years, still I have no intention of thrifting until I got divorced. I lost my job, and I had the kids with me. Even though my ex-husband paid for one of my kids, because that is his daughter, I had the two who was probably, I don't know, maybe 16, and the other one is only 12. So I have those, so I have to work and save and find different ways to make more money. And I went back I remember going back to Savers that time, and I was looking around, and I said, maybe I should try this. I buy little things and see how it works. Well, I had tried it, and that was not really my calling that time, because I don't even remember if I sold anything. But that was okay, because that's how I developed my hobby of making jewelry. And that jewelry, I was able to, I sold a few, but it's not really a lot of money. So it is not really enough to quit my job that time. And then moving forward to now, um, my eBay store, or my e-commerce store, started kicking off, but I don't see that as a full-time income, because there's so much competition out there, and there will be, and there are more seller that has more things to offer than me. But I have to tell you, over a period of time, I learned what to sell, what makes money, and what is not selling. It's like the postcard. I've been listing my postcard, but I also know that postcard is not a lot of money, even if you buy those vintage one. Even for, say, it's a signed autograph of a postcard, it's not really sufficient enough to quit if that's what other people's intention. But what I'm saying is that I am thankful for that exposure that I had that time with that lady, because I did not realize that I actually paid attention at the time, but it took me many years to realize that I can do the same. And now that I learned so much, I realize what are the items that making more money, and also how to advertise and create my own ads makes so much difference with me. So maybe it is not very important to you, or maybe just saying big deal. It doesn't really matter, because that is your opinion and I have mine. But this has just happened to be the headline of my podcast. And so anybody who wants to try doing the online store, and if you have any question, shoot me an email, and perhaps I can give you some advice. So there you have it. This is my podcast for today, and as usual, have a fantastic day. Bye.